Hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of HGO, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I'm your host, Ethan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the co-host. He's returned, everybody. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how's it going?
I'm feeling very swell to be back.
You look very HD, dude. You look very HD. It's nice to see you.
I upgraded the camera.
It looks good, man. It looks good. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. How have you been? It's been a while, man. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I am doing swell, as I said before. It is
the double bill. The double bill.
Yeah, the double.
You gotta make up for last time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Since I was missing.
Exactly.
But yeah, started playing Persona 5 Royal.
Nearly finished it.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. We're also
if
joined...
this was regular Persona, I would be done by now, almost.
Lucky you. We'll talk about it a little bit later. We're also joined by the Weeb Wonder himself, Kyle, rounding out this little trio today. How are you doing, Kyle? You all right?
I'm doing pretty well. Jacob and I, we had just taken a trip to New York to go pick up his sister for his graduation,
nice.
So
nice.
That's what my last couple days were.
Yeah, fun.
New York sucks.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know,
driving there is miserable.
Yeah, that's like, that doesn't surprise me, right? That doesn't surprise me.
Not
you just
at all.
Look at New York, you're like, yeah, that's just not gonna work. Jacob,
it's like, yeah,
it's the show.
Yeah. You all remember him from that one episode.
Persona 5 spoiler cast, if you, Hunter. Hunter, you've got a great little podcast to go watch when you're done. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, right. I do have to actually listen to it.
Yeah.
Formerly the best episode of the podcast.
Formerly the best episode of the podcast. How are you feeling after? For those of you who are not regular listeners to the show, we've just taken our little mid-season break, kind of. You guys, for only you guys, it's only been a week. We've only been away a week, but with the way that the timing went with the recording with Yoshilla, Hunter's been off for like 3.5 weeks. Like Hunter's basically nearly had a month off here, and me and Kyle have had 2.5 weeks off. How are you feeling? You feeling refreshed? Feeling good?
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
It's been
yeah.
fun. It's weird to be back.
We all took off last week because none of us were really feeling great. So
and there was not really much to talk about, even though Kane was like laughing at me because there's a little indie game called Fall Guys came out that was not a big deal whatsoever, and he's like, "You've got nothing to talk about, have you?" I'm like, "Yeah, nothing came out."
I'm sure you can talk about Fall Guys for an hour. And that's what today's episode is all about.
Buckle in, boys. This is Hot Games Only, where every week on Monday we come to you to talk about everything that we love in the world of video games. You can find us on podcast services everywhere and on YouTube. If you want to go and hit subscribe, go to bit.ly/thegiggers. That's bit.ly/thegiggers. Go hit us a sub where you can get the video version every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern, same on podcast services. We'd really appreciate the sub on YouTube, though, because we're close to 50 now. Can you believe it? Wow. We've actually had a massive growth influx this month, so thank you everyone for the support so far. We really appreciate it. We've got some big things planned for the YouTube channel, so stick around, hit subscribe, because other things other than HGO might be coming out in September. Who knows? I'm not promising anything because I can't promise shit ever. Because my promises are like the parents that are like, yeah, if you do good in your exams, we'll go to Disney World. You're not fucking going to Disney World. It's not happening.
This podcast may have been Ethan's idea, but if it wasn't for Hunter, it wouldn't have gotten started.
It's 100% true. Other than that,
I like to help when I can.
We appreciate it.
Other than that, bit of housekeeping. We now have a Hot Gamers Only specific Twitter if you don't want to follow the Giggers, which kind of at the Giggers YT for all of our Giggers updates. But if you just want podcast updates, and hey, there are some of you that want that, you can head on over to @HotGamersOnly on Twitter. You can also get in contact with us now with hotgamesonly@gmail.com. We have that as well. You know, we're fully prepared now, so you can get into contact with us in many different ways.
We have a Gmail now? That's awesome.
Dude, we have it. We have hotgamersonly@gmail.com, so I can't wait for all the spam that we get from that. So thank you guys for your...
Come back next week when we make an OnlyFans.
They wish. 100 subs and we'll do it. No.
100 subs?
That seems like a low bar.
Hey, I'm all about giving, dude. I'm all about giving to our community. That's what I'm all about. Other than that, also remember, we do have the HGO Highlights channel, which we're going to start putting some stuff out now that we've got these video podcasts and we've got timestamps that I can easily rob things from. We're going to start uploading to that channel again, so you can head on over there if you want just bite-sized chunks of the podcast and don't have time to listen to us ramble for an hour. There's that as well.
That way, when Ethan starts throwing things again, there'll just be a video for that.
Yeah, just a compilation of me throwing things.
I was thinking about that too.
Of course. Who wasn't? What a great clip! And if you haven't seen it, go watch episode 20. What an
Please do. It was
episode!
fucking
We've
great.
had some good
It
episodes
was
these
great.
past couple of weeks. So hey, go check them out. And thank you so much for the support on the last episode in particular. It was incredible. So
Yeah.
we really do appreciate it. With all that out of the way, wow, one of our longest intros for a show that really doesn't have a topic. So this is great. We're really doing
It's
it.
called stalling, Ethan.
Oh, it's not stalling when it's fun. Dude.
Usually this happens at the end.
It's true. It is true. It usually does happen at the end. So yeah, the idea for this week's episode is we've all been away for a bit. We've all had a break. So we thought we'd just talk about what we've been playing, what's been happening, see where the conversation goes. It's a bit of a chill episode. It'll probably have a clickbaity title that it links in somewhere. So check the timestamps down below if you're there for the one thing that I've made you mad about. Probably. There you go. I've sorted it out. But with all that out of the way, let's start with, we've mentioned it already, so let's just start with this little game that everyone on the internet seems to be really loving, especially Sam. Sam's been playing a hell of a lot of it. Fall Guys.
Dude, yeah.
Me and you, we've played it together, Hunter. I've played quite a bit of it. You've played a little bit. And Kyle, you haven't played any of it because you refuse to have fun. So there you go.
I don't have PlayStation Plus. I'm sorry.
Well, you should.
Also, Fall Guys just doesn't look that fun to me. But
oh, you see, I thought it was.
That's everything I'll say on the topic.
I thought it wasn't going to be that fun either, but it turns out that it's like one of the most fun multiplayer experiences I've had in a little while. Like it is honestly.
It just looks like
really fun.
I don't know. To me, it just looks like one of those games that'd be fun for like a day, and then it starts to get super repetitive after.
I thought so too, and I've got like 35 hours on it, so I think it's pretty fun, especially if you're playing with friends. That's the one thing. Is solo, yeah, I agree. It probably does get. You probably do get fatigued from it after a little while, but playing with friends, there's just so much fun you can do, whether it's going for wins, or if you do what I do, which is if you've met the one person that's a dickhead and keeps grabbing you and forces you off cliffs, that's me. Hi, how's it going? That's where I get my fun. The amount of times I've eliminated my own friends just for fun.
Oh God.
Ethan, the Fall Guys.
So there you go. Hunter, what are your initial impressions of Fall Guys? Now,
all right.
It's been out for a little while.
I had fun with the little bit that I played it. I played it for a night, and that was about it, but it was cool. It's one of those games where, you're kind of fighting with the weird way that they control, but it's kind of it makes everyone equal because
it's got that gang beasts kind of control scheme. Where
it's like
chaos,
goofy and silly. So, don't take it too seriously. I had a lot of fun with it while I was doing it, though. I was never dismayed when I lost. It wasn't something like that.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I think separates Fall Guys from other multiplayer games. And don't get me wrong, I have seen everybody raging at Fall Guys. I've seen the compilations of people throwing controllers, breaking TVs. You want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah. There's another thing that just occurred to me is Fall Guys is one of those games, usually with these massive multiplayer battle royale type of things. I feel like you're not really doing anything. You're just kind of waiting around, waiting to lose. In Fall Guys, you're at least taking some kind of active participation in what's going on before you lose.
Yeah, it's more of a qualify. You have to qualify to the next round, right? It's qualify or be eliminated. It's not the classic strategy that a lot of people that play these battle royales, whether it's Warzone or PUBG or Fortnite or whatever the kids are playing nowadays, Apex, whatever it is. It's not one of those ones where you have the genuine people, and trust me, I know, I have friends. I'm calling you out, Fraser. I am calling you out. who goes, do you know what's the great strategy? Hug the circle. Come on, everybody, let's be best friends with the circle. Give it a fucking hug. We're never leaving the edge of the circle until the game's over. And that's what you do, where you just walk in, and then there's like 5 people left, and there's a 50% chance of you winning. And you're like, that's great and all, but I've literally done fuck all for like 20 minutes. Like, what a waste of time.
Probably win, but
what's the fun in that, right? Especially in a game where it's just like, the idea is to win, but if you've won just because you've hid the entire time and then come out for the that might be the smartest strategy, but it's the most boring strategy as well. Whereas I feel like with Fall Guys, you've just got to constantly keep playing. Even if it is a team game or whatever, you still have to do your part in it. You can't just stand completely still and expect to keep going.
Yeah, otherwise it'll really mess you up.
But
it's easy to see when people are like DC'd or not playing too in team games because their performances seem to drop off of a cliff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the team game. The team games are interesting because there's two camps of people. People love them or hate them. I'm like, it depends on the day, right? There's some that I'm like, hey, I love these. Like the stupid egg game. Everyone seems to really hate the fucking egg game. I love it because some people are like, oh, I hate it because I have to go and run and get eggs. I'm like, no. You grab the golden egg and then you camp in your fucking house and you just hug the egg for the entire game. And if someone comes for you, you beat the shit out of them and keep grabbing your egg like it's the fucking holy grail. It's stuff like that. Full ball can go piss itself. I hate full ball. The football game is actually the worst. That one sucks.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I haven't played any of the team games outside of the ones that I played while I was hanging out with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have much of an issue. Like
yeah,
the
there's
egg one
some interesting ones.
and like the rolling the ball to the finish line.
Rolling the ball one's perfectly fine because it just is the best team wins in that regard. There's no like screwing up.
Yeah.
It's basically just the better your team performs. But no,
it's always funny to see the people try in vain to stop the ball from rolling down the slope too.
We've done it before. It's great where it's like, oh, we're the first ones and we're just letting our ball roll. And it's like, instead of just helping our ball roll down, we'll just let it roll down slower and just screw up someone else's go at it. Because why not? You know, just like everyone just turns around and just starts bullying yellow. I think apparently yellow is the team to bully. That's what the kids are doing. I've seen the Twitter account. The Twitter account's just always shit posting about the yellow team. That's all it is. It's just like
even their own creators. Mm-hmm, that's harsh.
Basically, the Fall Guys Twitter is something else, man. But no, I've had a lot of fun with Fall Guys. Like honestly, it kind of just came out of nowhere, and I feel like that's what the beauty of. It's been a while. The last time a game did this was Rocket League, where a game just kind of appeared out of nowhere on PS Plus for free. Yeah. And it was just great. And it was like, oh, this is an actual good game on Plus that I can play with my friends. And now it has the chance to grow outside of that PS Plus box.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially on PlayStation, it's a win-win because you need PS Plus to play online games anyway. So the fact that you just get it for free with your PS Plus subscription, don't have to pay for it, is just kind of a bonus, really. But no, it's really good. I'd recommend people check it out if you haven't, especially if you have PS Plus, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, if you've got PS Plus, you definitely don't have anything to lose. And if you'd prefer to play on Steam, it's only like $20.
Yeah, and it's like £15, $20, and yeah,
and Steam games go on sale all the time.
Doesn't every game nowadays? So you know, I'm sure one day you'll be able to get your hands on it. But no, it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what they're doing because it seems like they're constantly updating it. They've already added a new end game mode and stuff like that, so it seems like they're just going to keep constantly adding. Cool. So. Yeah, good job, Fall Guys. Your servers were a bit shit the first week that the game was out, but you know what? We'll just accept that because hey, it's an actual fun game, and for the once in my life, I'm actually enjoying a multiplayer game for like the first time in 18 months. So that's great. So thank you, Fall Guys, for doing something really cool. What should we talk about next? We got basically a list of games, and it's like I want Kyle to talk a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about a game that I've played recently, which, everyone's going to love me that I'm bringing Persona back. I've played and beaten, without even mentioning it on the podcast, I've played and beaten Persona 4 Golden. That happened. I did it. Well done, me.
All by myself.
I did it, guys. I did it. And it only took me until the final dungeon to realize that I could turn XP up. It only took me that long to realize that I wasted 8 hours of my life grinding for nothing. It's all good. But no, Kyle, you've played the base P4. You played base game, right? Like how many years ago? How many years ago did you play base game P4?
That's a good question.
Because I know Hunter, when were you Hunter? You were like 20...
I'll say 5.
2017.
2017. Mm-hmm.
Actually,
I'll say 5 years ago.
I played Golden right around the time that P5 was released in the West.
Oh, nice. Good timing, that. And you played it on you played it on PS Vita, right?
I did. I'm one of the 5 people in the world who have one of those.
I still don't. I've always been one of those people that's like, I'd like a PS Vita because there's some cool games on it, but I was just always like, no. I'll own the PS TV because of Crash 2, and then that's about it. And I did buy it for P4 Golden, but then like the gods looked down on me and went, don't play on that shit. Here's a PC version. And I was like, great, that's not PS4, but I'll take it. I'll take the PC version.
Beggars cannot be choosers.
Oh, it should, man. The amount of crashes. We'll get onto it in a second, but especially in the golden content. The golden dungeon. I've mentioned it on Twitter, so if you haven't checked on Twitter, I basically had the game crash on me 6 times in that dungeon. 6 whole times, ranging anywhere from being 2 minutes in to being halfway through and it just crashing, and because I hadn't left yet. It was just, I had to, honestly, I played the start of that dungeon a good 6 times. What?
My power went off for a minute mid-dungeon last night while I was doing
Oh.
7 and P5.
And how did it feel?
It was a bummer.
How far through were you?
Not super far. It wasn't that long since before I had saved. I had just done enough that it was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about that is you're not playing base P5, because the good thing about Palace 7 and Royal is they genuinely decided to do plastic surgery on that and trim off like so much fat. Like a good third of that palace just disappeared like into the fucking ether. It just vanished. So I was like,
good stuff. It made it way better.
Oh, getting rid of that entire final mouse puzzle section. They just removed it entirely and just made it like a 2-room puzzle. The fact that they just saved you like an hour. Yeah.
Let's go back to P4 first.
Okay.
Hold your horses, Ethan.
Hold my horses. But no. Other than the crashing in X-Person's Palace, I don't think I should spoil it, because even though the game's at this point over 10 years old, well, Golden's 8 years old, right? But base game's 12. God, that's old. But I don't feel like I should spoil it. I feel like we've also said that we'll do a spoiler cast at some point for that when Sam's eventually played it, because I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, there we go.
Who knows when that'll be?
At this point, 2021. If Sam hasn't played it by the year's out, we'll just do a bonus episode. I'll decide. We'll do one eventually, because I feel like we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Next week, guys. No.
Next week.
God.
Yeah. Let's go.
That is not enough time for me to beat that game and refresh my memory.
Yeah, you know you want to, Cal. Yeah, you want to.
Dude, I love P4.
Yeah, dude. That's
better
the thing.
than 5.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not. But it's really good.
This could be its own episode. Is the great
what? Which one's better? I feel.
No, please no. I'm bad at debating. I hate arguing.
Okay, well,
we all saw in the Pokemon episode. I hate arguing.
Have to be a formal debate. We could just talk about who. You could just talk about why you like it more than the other.
But this is like we can have that we can have that conversation now without spoiling anything. But I've said to Hunter as well, because I've had this conversation with the both of you recently, where it's like there are parts of 4 which are executed way better than Persona 5. Like as in terms of specific characters in particular. I said that in particular, Kanji, Rize, and Teddy are stronger characters than any of the Persona 5 main cast. They just are, in terms of just character and development, especially Kanji and Rize. Teddy is a personal preference. I can see why people fucking hate him. I can see why people love him, but I just ended up really liking him, mainly just
Teddy's
because
leaps and bounds better than Morgana.
Oh, he is. It's not even close. Yeah, thank you.
Too.
Yeah, it's not even close, right? But in terms of Rize and Kanji, oh, fancy French version of Kanji. Those 2 characters in particular are so much stronger than any of the main cast in P5 that it's not crazy. In terms of just storytelling and what they did with those 2 characters and just personality in general. And I feel like I think that it's kind of cheating because it is Troy Baker and Laura Bailey, but at the same time, hey, they do a great job with those characters. But then there's weak points to me in that game that are way weaker than anything P5 does either. Like Chie. Do I need to speak about Chie? I'm sorry, the 5 people that really like Chie. I've seen you on Twitter, but I don't agree. I really don't like Chie. She's better in the anime. I don't know how they did that, but she is better in the anime than she is in the actual game, which is amazing to me. I'm like, how is seeing less of this character better? How do you do this? I don't know. It's the characters are hit and miss, and the story, I feel like the story is very much similar to how P5 has a really fucking, at least in base game, had a really poor final boss. It's more of it is more of the journey rather than the destination. But to me, whereas I've described it to you in P5, even I personally enjoy the journey, even knowing where it ends up, I enjoy it. But I feel like on replaying, and to be fair, I've played through P5 now 3.5 times, whereas I've only played through Golden once so far. I will get through to more playthroughs of 4 in the future. It's just to me, the journey, especially knowing where it leads up, all the things that were super interesting in the journey to me weren't paid off. And we've had this discussion. You really like the villain of P4. I really despise the villain of P4. And I feel like that'll be a really great thing to talk about in the spoiler cast, because we are literally on the opposite ends of the spectrum here, where you think it's that person is a really good character and really well done, and I think it is the poorest attempt at a villain ever. So I'd really like to have that debate at some point. Sorry, Cal, I'm going to make you debate that one.
So this is all I'm going to say on the villain. Mm-hmm. There's this really good video essay called,
I know what you're talking about.
Without spoilers.
It's called "The Character Inside the Mind of an Edgelord."
Yeah.
And
last week.
It's such a good video essay. I really love how I don't remember who made it, but they did a really good job like dissecting him. And then I watched another one that compared him to Akechi, and they're basically the same character.
They are
looking at it like that.
Like, I know, even without a video essay. One, it's like, I'm sure the video essay is great, but in my opinion, I shouldn't need a video essay to be convinced why a character's good. I should be I should see that from the game itself. But two, when my problem is when comparing him to Akechi, right? This is all I'm going to say on the matter. If it was comparing base P5 to P4 Golden, or just base P4 in general, then I probably would have liked that villain a lot more. But with the added content to Akechi in particular in Royal, Akechi is far stronger to me than said character ever is. God, it's like, I hate this. I genuinely hate trying to not spoil it. But we're going to... But to me, all the stuff that they do that Hunter is yet to see is leaps and bounds ahead of anything in that. And it just we'll have this discussion later, but in my opinion, the villain and the reveal and how they try and put all the pieces into place just doesn't work for me. And I feel like that's the main problem with a murder mystery, is if it hits, then it hits. But if it misses, it kind of just ruins the whole narrative for yourself. And I'm like, for me, it completely missed. But everything else I loved about it. It's one of those games where it's like, it's a bit like Xenoblade 1, where I'm talking a lot about the negatives, but it's because I like the game so much. It's just, this is literally it. This is all I dislike. The rest of the game's a really fun journey, and I feel like everyone should play it. Even if you're like me and you hate the random dungeon aspect, it kind of gets on your nerves. Just don't do what I did. Turn the difficulty down, turn the XP up, have a fun time, just blaze through it. Because why not?
What is it about the random dungeons that you didn't like?
Just not interesting. To me,
okay,
it's just not, and it just feels like an XP grind. That's all it feels to me. It's a halt in progression, because there's no structure to it. There's like the odd flaw that's actually scripted, right? And those, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. But to me, just having these endless corridors that are just in my mind, it just feels like filler. And I could get over it with Mementos, because Mementos is the side thing. It is the filler, right? But in the base games, it just feels like you're just holding me back from the story here. This is all that's in the way of this being a visual novel, is this filler to me. And I don't hate it. Like, I get through it perfectly fine. And I think especially in P4, there's not that much grinding you need to do. If anything, the further you get into the game, the less grinding you have to do, which is a bit counterintuitive. But I felt like the first couple of dungeons are a lot more grindier than the later.
The difficulty is pretty front-loaded.
Very front-loaded. I think that the hardest bosses in the game are either in the second or third dungeons. They're the hardest bosses in my opinion.
For sure.
A bit how base P5 was front-loaded with Madarame's boss fight, where you literally don't get a harder boss fight than Madarame compared to where you are in the game, your skill gap in the game, up until like right at the end. But it just feels like filler to me. And I feel like if I had played P4 or P3 first, I feel like, hey, that would have been completely different. But because P5 has these Zelda-like structured dungeons, which you go through, and to me, I'm like, oh, this feels meaningful because they've planned every little piece of this. And even though there's the randomness in the battles that you fight along the way, you've got this structure to it. in 4, it just kind of feels like, oh, I'm just going down endless corridors for endless corridors just so the game has an excuse to get my levels up, just so I can face a boss and move on with my visual novel, essentially. And that's...
I only fill out the whole floor's map because of my raging kleptomania.
That was one of the things that I did as well, was I basically... And thank God for the golden hands, because my God, if the golden hands didn't exist, the little Timmies, salute to Timmy, dude. Salute to Timmy. Because they make grinding so much easier, because if they didn't exist, then the grind would be too much, in my opinion. It's crazy how little XP you get from regular fights, to the point where it honestly felt like the best way to level up in that game is to avoid every fight until you find a golden hand floor, and then just hunt the golden hands until they disappear again. And I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I can get it. And especially in a portable setting, I feel like it works better for the Vita version, for Golden. I feel like having these random floors where you can just go, oh, I'm on the bus. Let me just pick up my Vita real quick, and I can just I can take my Vita out of sleep mode and just do a floor real quick. So I don't need to remember what I was doing because the floors are randomized. There's no brain power needed. I can just get through, do a bit of grinding, turn it off again. I think it works great for that. But in terms of someone that likes the structure of the game, it just kind of felt like it was padding. But it wasn't to a point where I was like, this is unbearable. The only one that I think, to me, was kind of like I really cannot be bothered to go through that is the midpoint dungeon, the 8-bit dungeon. I don't want to say the name because, again, spoilers, but the one that kind of has an 8-bit theme. That was the one where I was like, I feel like this could be skipped. Like, I don't want to do this. But other than that, for the most part, and then the later dungeons at least have variety in the aesthetics.
Yeah.
The castle is like the castle one is decent. The bathhouse one, I think, even though I understand what they were going for, I think it's the most boring looking dungeon in the entire game. The nightclub one's pretty cool, but the music's fun for the first hour, but then when you're another 3 hours in and you hear the same one line of vocals looping, it starts to become an earworm. And I'm not going to talk about the ones after that because they're all spoilers. But I don't know. It felt like padding, but I can see why people like it. You know, it's just one of those personal preference things. But I'm done rambling about P4 because we'll talk about it more in depth at another point. But I really do like it. I know Kyle likes it a hell of a lot, and I still do like it. It's still in my top 10, top 15 games, right? I still loved it a lot. But
I genuinely think P4 is better than 5.
And
even with all the quality of life changes 5 made. I just love 4 way too much.
And I can see that.
And
we've had this.
And you could say that it's like biased because I played 4 first.
Oh, it is 100% biased, but that's with every Persona game. I feel like there's a Persona bias with whichever.
Shut up, you P5 stan.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to the fact that those two games say similar things. They just go about doing it different ways, so it might resonate with the respective people differently.
It's just Persona 4 is a much more personal story.
Yeah.
Whereas Persona 5 has its personal moments, but it's a blockbuster, right? It's a TV. Yeah. It's a season of TV every palace essentially. It has an arc every moment. It has a big kind of blockbuster feel to it. It's trying to go for it's trying to go for the Ocean's 11 heist movie every season kind of thing. Whereas P4's is a lot more personal, where it kind of makes it feel like in Persona 5, I feel like the acts that you do as the Phantom Thieves are as important as your social life. Like, I feel like that's the gameplay is heavily important in the story, right? Whereas I feel like the moments in P4 that shine have nothing to do with the TV world, the Shadow World at all. If anything, the Shadow World and all the gameplay is like that, and the actual visual novel and the personal life is like that. That's the bit that I care about. I don't care about the gameplay. I really only care about the characters, and it's a great journey to go on, and they're a great cast of characters. It's just whether you prefer whether you prefer that kind of story versus 5's kind of story, and 2, do you prefer the structure that 5 goes for or the structure that 4 goes for? And to me, I still love 4. There's still some great things about it, but just the overall quality of life and the structure, and there are still characters in 5 and Royal that I still love way more than I ever loved Yukiko or Chie or even Yosuke, right? There are characters in that game where I'm just like, those are the three that I always throw out. But those three, and to be fair, it's funny because
literally the first 3 people you meet.
Yeah, Yukiko. It's funny because Yukiko and Yosuke were in my party the entire game, and they're my two of my least favorite characters. Just because I was like, well, they're leveled. Guess I'm using them. I'm just got used to using them, right? But it's interesting where I said to you, I think the cast as a whole is stronger in 5, but there are shining cast members in 4 that shine brighter than anyone in 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like my kind of opinion on it. But anyway, I've talked about this enough. I knew that once we got into this, I would just ramble. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to let Hunter.
I guess like my final thoughts on this P4 segment is that I like the overall theme of 4 a lot more than 5. It just resonated with me a lot more. I love the theme of self-discovery and how every social link you have in that game, it all ties back into that theme of self-discovery. I don't think that, I could be wrong, I don't think that P5 had an overarching theme to it, but
I mean, it did. It's revenge and injustice in society, right? I feel like the theme of Persona 5 very much is that people will always have an impression of you. Whether it's right or wrong, there's always going to be someone there that judges you, and it's about overcoming that and finding the people that mean the most to you, that can see through that. And I think that's it very much. They're both games of their time, right? I feel like you couldn't have done P5 story when P4 came out. And I think the same with P4. I feel like P4's story, if you had released it in 2016, yes, people would have liked it, but I don't think it would have resonated with the people as much, because I feel like, in a sense, Persona 5 came out in 2016, and yet it feels even more relevant today than it ever did when it came out. It kind of predicted this world of fake news and injustice and people being lied to in the mass media and having to overcome this shit themselves to get out of the way, right? It's kind of as if that fucking game just predicted what would happen in the UK and America in the next 4 years. It kind of just went, hey, this is what's going to happen. And it's resonated even more now than it ever did. But at the same time, exactly. But if you had released a story, if you'd done a story like that in 2008, I don't think it would have resonated. They're all games of their time, kind of, and that's why everyone will always have a favorite. I feel like, not even if it's your first Persona game, right? But I always think you'll always attach to one game in the Persona franchise more than the others, and it'll either be a little person. And it is 100% a bias. I say that I'm 100% biased towards Persona 5. Like, I'm not going to lie about that, because I am. It's like the same way how I'm more biased towards Xenoblade 2 than I am Xenoblade 1. It's just one of those things, though. But it's not that I'm discounting Persona 4 for not being a great game. Spoiler alert, it is fucking great. You need to play it. Like, I recommend it. But the characters and the story resonated with me more in 5 than 4 did. Even though the characters in 4, as I said, are fucking great. The ones that, especially like Rize and Kanji, are my 2 favorite characters in Persona, like just flat out. So, there's that. It's a really great game, though. You should play it.
Yes, you should.
And if the random dungeons put you off it, like it put me off it for a whole year, just knock that difficulty down to fucking easy. If you're playing on the PC version, turn that fucking XP gain up and choo off you go, off to the races, go enjoy your visual novel. Fuck the grind. Don't do what I did and sit through it and go, am I enjoying this? Because trust me, they made quality of life in the menus that if you just click the difficulty option and don't be blind like me, you'll have a great time. And the same time,
I don't know how you made it to the end of the game without checking the options menu.
It was the difficulty options. I didn't want to check them because I just thought it'd just be easy, normal, hard. Because I didn't want to change the difficulty down. I didn't realise there was an XP thing there as well, or else I would have turned that fucker up, and I'd probably have a much better impression of Persona 4. But we're gonna live with it. It's all good. It's all fine. I wrote down a timestamp, and now it's 5 minutes later, so we're just gonna move on and cry. Hunter,
what's up?
You finished Ghost of Tsushima.
I did.
How did you find it in the end?
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, how did you find it in the end?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. There's aside from like Breath of the Wild, which I feel like is just on a level that's almost unfair to compare to, and like Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima is one of the better open world games I've played in the past several years. The way it contextualizes things in its world is still incredible. I think that's the main strength. It's just it nails the vibe it's going for. So, and it managed to motivate me to do more side things than these kind of games usually do. Like I finished the game and I still had like some camps to go, and I was like, sure, I've only got 6 of them to do. I might as well. So the gameplay itself is fun enough to partake in to motivate you to keep going, I believe. The story wasn't really super special, but I think it was well done for what it is.
Yeah.
It's very Batman-esque in a lot of ways to me.
Great comparison.
Becoming what you need, becoming what your people need, even though it might go against what you have believed in before.
The hero we need, not the one we deserve.
Yeah, basically.
I find it interesting because you went out and you finished it, right? You went out after our first impressions that we did on the channel. If you want to see mine and Kyle's first impressions, go watch that video, because we talked about it for like an hour. But you went off and you carried on and you finished it, and me and Kyle did the exact same thing where we just stopped. Where we just were like, yeah, I like this game.
I don't gotta talk about this no more.
I think I'm enjoying it.
I did my time.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it. I've had a great time. Let's stop playing it. And then me and Cal just both, and we weren't talking about it. We didn't go, oh, let's stop playing this fucking game. It was just, we both just dropped off, like, completely. And to me, at first, I was like, I need to finish P4, so I'm just going to stop playing and come back to it. And I still haven't gone back. And it's just one of those games where it was like, I was enjoying it, but I don't know if it's just open world fatigue in general, or if it's
that could easily be it.
The lack of structure in the game to me, where it's just like I'm not motivated to keep playing it. I've been like when I was playing it, and I've mentioned, I don't remember if it was you, Cal, that I mentioned it to. I was very much playing it in 1 hour chunks, where I'd do a bit of exploring for an hour, and then I'd just be like, okay, I'm done now, and then I'd stop and I'd close app and I'd be done. And I was like, and at first I was like, oh, this is just how I'm enjoying it. But then I was like, am I? And I was like, because I wasn't doing any of the main missions at all. I was just exploring. And I feel like that was the main problem that I had with Ghost was once I was only exploring, then that's when I noticed how things that I thought were super cool and I mentioned in the first impression was super cool were actually just, oh, that's just another way of having a marker on a minimap without explicitly having a marker on the minimap.
Yeah.
And I still think the wind is cool. The wind, don't get me wrong, the wind is still the coolest fucking thing about that game. Is having the wind guide you is a great tool to use. Like, it's great. It solves a lot of problems. But the things like the birds and the foxes and just stuff, I can't remember I can't even remember the third type now. The smoke. That's it. The smoke. Things that originally I was like, oh, that's cool. It's environmental storytelling, where same fucking fox tree has glowing leaves. The bird always leads to the same shit, and the fucking smoke's the same, where it's always like an enemy thing that you need to deal with. And it was just like, these are just minimap points. And I started, and it started, all of a sudden, my brain just ticked, and it just went from, this is a cool exploration and game, to, motherfuckers, those are just more minimap points, and now this is a checklist of have I done that bird? Tick. I've done that smokestack, and I'm like, this is just open world again. I'm living in Assassin's Creed land where I'm going, I fucking hate this. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm done with exploration. The next time I pick up that game, which I'm going to try and play this week, is I'm just going to go main story. I'm just going to go and main bolt the story and see which bits I like and which bit I don't, because I feel like I was playing it wrong. I went in and I started playing it like Breath of the Wild, and I very quickly realized Breath of the Wild, this isn't. This is very much, it wants you to think that it's Breath of the Wild, but it fucking isn't, because everything is still just a mini-map icon in disguise. And I still like it. I love the stuff that they have done with it. I think the combat's fucking great, and Assassin's Creed really needs to take a lesson from Sucker Punch's combat, because they nailed fluid combat for like straight away first try without it feeling clunky and button mashy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just something hasn't clicked, and I feel like I'm the only one that hasn't clicked with it because everyone's like, "Oh, this game's incredible," and Twitter's like always on fire about it, and I'm just like, "Am I the only one that just thinks that it's good, but it's an open world game? It's just an open world. Like, I don't know."
No, I'm kind of there with you.
Mm.
So I won't contend that those are mini-map things in disguise because that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the way that they went about accomplishing it is cooler than, neon beams into the sky.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but at the same time,
So,
Breath of the Wild didn't have, oh, here's a thing on the minimap, then you ding the thing on the minimap, and then the beacon shows up. You only put the beacon there if you wanted to put the beacon there. It wasn't like a...
I was speaking more to like open world games in general.
Oh, in general, yeah, like any other Ubisoft game where it's like, oh, here's the thing, and here's the compass, here's the distance. Yeah, like, no.
In one try, Sucker Punch did Ubisoft's like template better than they ever have.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I want to get back into it more. I want to try again. But at the same time, it's just one of those things where it's like, if there's one thing from the PlayStation 4 generation I'm now sick of, it's fucking open world games. Like, honestly, I'm so done. Like, I'm ready to throw the fucking Assassin's Creed pile away again. Like, I'm ready to... I'm not going to, because I'm not going to, but I'm ready to just throw it. Because if there's one thing that I've played far too much of this generation, it's fucking open world games. And I just feel like for the number of people that are working on open world games, the amount of fucking like progression and innovation in them is like nothing. Like, honestly, like Ghost is doing little things, right? It's doing things that I'm like, I appreciate the wind taking me there instead, and not having a massive fucking map in one corner of the thing and a compass at the top and shiny things all over the game. I'm here, and having me climb a massive fucking tower to see what's going on. Shit like that. Fog of War, I still think is dumb. I think Fog of War is dumb in general. I don't understand why every open world game has a fascination of, not only are we going to make a fucking massive world, we're going to put a cloud of smoke over your minimap, so you have to go and explore every rock to fully have your map open. I don't get it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I appreciate, and like, I definitely, that's the thing, is when I've talked to it, I'm like, I'm not saying this is a bad game. It's not, it's great, but
no, it's awesome.
It's an awesome game, but it's like, as someone that went into Ghost expecting, oh, this is a game that's doing open world different, like Breath of the Wild did open world different. It's not doing open world different in that regard. It's just doing some of the things that, just doing a little better and doing things that many open world games have done before. It's just doing them a little differently, like hiding the way that you find them and having everything be a tiny bit more environmental. But at the end of the day, it's still check that box. There's X amount of fox shrines that are always got glowy leaf trees, and it's like, okay, I get the idea and I appreciate it, and I hope that I do, once I start actually playing the story again, get back into it. But it's just one of those games where it's like, I want to love you more than I do, but I really don't. And it was, and I think the lack of structure is genuinely what killed it. I would have loved to, as much as some people will be like, no, I love the open world in this game, I would have loved to have seen what a more zoomed in, focused approach to this game would have been. I feel like that's what would have really sold me, is what would we have done if we had kind of toned it in a bit, because it's not the fact that the game's open world that makes it long. Like, spoiler alert, fucking Last of Us Part 2 is like 23 hours. It took me 23 hours to beat that fucker, and it's a straight line. Like, but I just don't know. I love the combat and I love the world, and I love the aesthetics. It's one of the best looking games on PS4 by like a mile.
For sure, yeah.
But just the openness and just the kind of checkboxy filler, to me, it just kind of just doesn't sit with me well, and it doesn't interest me. But I can see why people love it, if that makes sense.
I get you.
So, right, we're going to talk very quickly. I'm going to let you have a little talk, Hunter, because, like I say, I keep rambling all over the place today. So I'm going to let you give a quick... obviously, you're playing Royal, but do you want to talk about Bug Fables really quick?
I better do that before we go off on another Persona.
Oh, trust me. I'm gonna put like a timer on it, and we'll limit it to like 5 minutes. But go on.
All right.
Bug Fables.
So, Bug Fables. I've always wanted to play the early Paper Mario games, and I've never had the opportunity to. Bug Fables feels like everything that I've observed from those put into a new game. Go check it out if you are disappointed with the direction that the Paper Mario series is going now, because a lot of people seem to be.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
I won't speak to that very much, though, because I haven't played any. But I've played Bug Fables most of the way through, I believe. I was on like chapter 5 before I got home and started playing Persona. So I think there's like 6 in the game, if I read correctly. It's really cool. Like the things that drew my fascination with the Paper Mario games, like the button commands during battle and blocking, it just having something to do more than just saying, oh, hey, attack, is a way that I think really helps be more engaged with the combat. And I also the characters are charming. Like the main cast is lovely, the 3 of them.
From the little I've seen, they are pretty.
Yeah.
They all like play off of each other really well. A lot of the other ancillary characters, now I can see the look of disgust on Ethan's face, and it makes me so happy.
I'm not saying.
But anyway, yeah, all of the ancillary characters are interesting. The story's about what I would expect this kind of thing to be, but I'm not upset. Like, I'm cool with it. I've enjoyed the ride so far.
Yeah.
I'll report back when I beat it.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap as well.
Yeah, it was like $20, I think.
And on Nintendo
like
Switch.
18.
Yeah.
And on Nintendo Switch. I think it's available on the PS4 too, actually.
But if you are like a massive Paper Mario fan of the original games and have been looking for something that's a bit more to the original and Thousand Year Door, then that's definitely the way to go about it.
For sure.
Because Origami King is not what you're after. I know. I've seen the Twitter hall.
Probably not.
I can see the I can see the torches from over here as like everyone's charging towards Nintendo HQ, going, "Not another shitty Paper Mario! Off we go!" Like,
Bobby's cool though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Can't say anything. Spoilers.
I also can't say anything, and Sam isn't here to talk about Origami King.
So we have nothing to say on that game. Kyle, I'm gonna ask you about Tales. Because why not? 4818. What is what's it? Tales of?
It's Tales of Vesperia. It was released back in 2016 or 2017, I want to say. And basically, the story follows the perspective of your main character, Velvet Crow, voiced by Christina V. And it's basically just like a revenge tale, and it's really cool. I love the cast of characters. Voice cast is incredible because it's an anime game. It's got to have a great voice cast. Erica Lindbeck is in it.
Has to have a
She is exactly what you'd expect her to be.
Lovely.
Man says has to have a great voice cast. We preach the god. We preach the god. Rex is the best. Hallelujah.
Anyway, Kyle.
Rex is a good voice actor. And anyone who says otherwise is an asshole.
No, he's not. Everyone else is, but he fucking isn't.
Rex was great.
Pardon.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As someone who is from the Midlands, which is that voice that he was trying to do, I strongly disagree.
That doesn't mean his voice actor was bad.
Oh, it does. 100%.
Nah.
But you know.
Anyways.
Carry on.
Voice actors, I think I was talking about.
Erica Lindbeck.
Ray Chase is your villain.
Yo, nice.
And that's just freaking cool.
Yeah, I love Ray Chase, man. He's great.
Other than that, like the game, it's your standard like Tails combat, your Tails combat loop. It's all very, very simple. I'm not too far in. I just got the full party together, so
nice.
I'm I'm looking forward to seeing where the story goes, because the story starts off fucking brutally.
How far?
It basically starts off
interesting.
It basically starts off in a flashback at Velvet's village, and there's like this ceremony going on, or like I don't even know what you'd call it, but basically her little brother ends up dying during it, and from Ray Chase, your villain, and it basically just becomes 3 years. Then it's 3 years after that, and it's all about where Velvet's been and exploring her cool new demon powers.
Nice.
She basically has like this claw arm that she can use to eat other demons and absorb their powers. It's really freaking cool.
Oh man, that's cool. It's like Nero's Devil Bringer.
Yeah, basically.
So how far in are you?
But
like out here.
Probably like, I don't know why I'm looking at my PS4 like it's turned on and I can look at this. But I'm probably
Give
like
me the knowledge.
I'm probably like 15 or 20 hours in.
Nice.
Something like that.
And is it like standard JRPG length?
Basically.
Is it kind of is it linear-ish? Is it more along the lines of what kind of like JRPG is it? Is it more of a Xenoblade open world kind of, or is it like 7 Remake?
It's pretty
like
linear.
Okay.
The game doesn't really want you going off the rails too much. I'm sure there's like optional side stuff I can be doing, but it's not necessary.
Like 7 Remake then, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the whole cast is great. They all play off each other really well, mostly because it's one of those groups that's kind of like begrudgingly all together.
Oh.
And I always love that dynamic.
Yeah.
Especially with Erica's character.
Oh, yay.
She's such a fucking goofball.
Everything that she's in, man, like genuinely.
Honestly.
She's in.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've only played Abyss and a little bit of Vesperia, but they nail like likable casts pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Outside of Berseria, the only other Tales game I've played is Tales of Symphonia 2, which this is probably going to get my Tales fan card revoked, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Symphonia 2.
Positive. Okay, I was like, oh, how could you get your card revoked for liking something? That sounds awful, dude.
Because the community hates that game, from what I understand.
I mean, apparently we're dead to everyone, dude. I said that.
This is true.
I said that I only liked Persona 4. I'm dead to the Persona community already. It's over. Wait till they see that I dislike 3. Then I'll be in fucking gulag.
Before anyone says anything, he hasn't played it yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about 3.
I have been literally, I have genuinely been holding back. Like, I've been so tempted to just boot up the PS3 store and just buy 3 FES, like, so much recently. But I'm having to hold myself back because I'm like, I don't want to play another Persona game this year.
Mm-hmm.
What was your prediction?
You'd get like a few hours in, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to do this
random
anymore."
Dungeon."
Oh, I've already said if I play Persona 3, when I play Persona 3, it's going straight down to easy on the easiest difficulty, and it's never coming off, dude. I've already said that. I played Persona 4. I validated my Persona card by playing Persona 4 on the base game difficulty. So it's like when I play Persona 3, that shit's going straight down to easy. Let me through. But nice. No. So Tales, would you recommend it so far, Cal?
I absolutely would. The game's also runs really cheap now too, so because it did not sell well.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately.
It sounds like something that I might actually check out at some point.
It's okay. The Tales series seems to be impervious to cancellation.
It's just one of those magical series, right? That just doesn't. It's like Yakuza before Yakuza got big, like in the past 4 years. Before that, Yakuza did like shit numbers, but Sega was just like, we're throwing this at the wall until it sticks, man. and then eventually it did stick. And now,
was it not big in Japan at least?
Probably, but here in the West, they kept localizing it like all the time, and it had quicker localizations than fucking Persona does. Well, actually, let's be real here.
Bring us the scramble.
Everything gets localized quicker than it does at fucking Atlas, dude. Like genuinely, but still, like Yakuza was not doing that well in America, but then like the past like 5 years, man, is that thing blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's huge now.
Yeah, I mean the Tales series, like it did stick with the first game, Symphonia, on PS2 and GameCube. It's just the sequel was less than desirable.
There were other games before that.
Oh, there were.
Yeah, I don't remember their names off the top of my head.
Professional knowledge.
I think the first one was called like Tales of Fantasia or something.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
That sounds familiar.
But
you can say anything before Symphonia. I believe you.
Yeah, I could say.
We've talked about this. Tales names mean nothing.
Hunter's one of those people in general, though. If Hunter says something, I tend to believe him. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like anyone else, I'm like, hang on, I'm going to Google it. If Hunter says, like, yeah, sure, I'm wrong. Even if I'm right, I'm wrong. You're right. Sure.
I mean, my Tales knowledge starts at Symphonia.
Well,
that's where the series started for me.
We've just had, so it's all good. But no, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We will end on Royal because I've got some shit to talk.
Because why not?
I've got some shit to talk about, boys. Don't you worry. If you thought that I hadn't talked about enough shit today, because this week I did the service, so you don't have to, of playing Marvels Avengers the beta, and oh boy, is it fucking awful! Oh my god, I had got.
Are you saying that it could be beta?
I hate you. I had gone in. I saw what was happening. I looked to the other podcasts, and what did I see? People going, Avengers is all right. So I downloaded
all right.
Beta. Yeah.
What a ringing endorsement.
Greg Miller was like, I like it. Blessing was like, this shit's gonna get old. And I was like, I'll play it. So I downloaded it on my PS4. I was eager with anticipation, and then it took me 25 minutes to fucking get in because the servers wouldn't work. And then once I got in, the game crashed. But then after I rebooted the game, a cutscene froze. But then once I got into the fucking video game, and I saw that the first input was a quick time event, I knew that this game.
Oh no! This sounds like an adventure.
Literally, I went through 35 minutes of fucking hassle to get this game to work, only to have Thor above a load of people and it say, hold the triangle button to slam down.
Oh, man.
And at that point, I knew what was going to happen. So I played this game for 2.5 hours, ladies and gentlemen. I gave it my full attention. I played the entire fucking thing. I played as everyone. I played as Thor. He plays like a shit version of Kratos from God of War 2018. I played Captain America. He plays like a shit version of Kratos from God of War. They're the same fucking character. They both throw their shields and do the heavy punches, dude. I played Hulk. He plays like a shit version of Kratos from... I'm fucking joking. They all play the fucking same. Those three characters are indistinguishable. Hulk even has a throw ability. I thought, Hulk's going to be a really close brawler. You press L2, he just picks up a mound of dirt and just throws it at people, and you can do it infinitely. So you can just fucking yank players Hulk. Just fucking.
You'd think they would let you like grab the enemies and throw them at someone else. At least.
No, you can grab them with the triangle button and then slam them into other people. But no, if you just throw something, you just pick up a rock and throw it like Mjolnir, except it doesn't come back. You just throw all millions of rocks. Whereas the Captain America shield just bounces off the people and comes straight back to you. And the difference between Captain America and Thor, ladies and gentlemen, is get this. When you throw Mjolnir, you have to press R2 again for it to come back. It's God of War, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. So they have extra input, makes a new character. Big wow. And it was like, I play the tutorial, and I've never seen a sequence that has had more quick time events and fucking cutscenes that don't work in my life. Like, honestly, there were more quick time events in the first 20 minutes of Marvel's Avengers, which is the beta plays the first level. So I played the first level, right? To start off with, there were more quick time events in that tutorial first level than the entirety of games that I've played in the past 2 years. Like, genuinely, there were more quick time events in that than the entirety of Marvel Spider-Man. In general, it was fucking awful. Iron Man is clunky as hell to play. Like, he just doesn't feel good from what I've played. The only two characters that actually play well are Black Widow, of all characters. She plays quite fun, actually. She's quite fun to play. Pretty cool. And Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel, for those of you who don't know, who's a more new Avenger whose role in this game is basically the story of this game is fucking dumb. Essentially, there's this day where the Avengers are celebrating being how amazing they are, and a bunch of villains basically come in and start destroying the San Francisco bridge. So all the Avengers go over there except for Captain America, who's in the helicarrier. Then turns out that was a bait so that they could explode the helicarrier that has a massive explosive on it, and Cap, quote unquote, dies, because we all know he's dead for about 20 minutes. He's coming back. They made him, dude. He's like Kratos, dude. They want to put all that effort into Kratos to not have the but then so they explode. So this massive, basically, terrorist attack happens. Captain America's dead, and this is the bit that honestly made me cry. This is how great you can tell the writers are, guys. Massive explosion happens. Loads of people die, right? Loads of people dying. It's a terrible day. What do they decide to call it 5 years in the future? They all refer to it as A Day.
Yep.
Fucking A Day. I literally cried. I genuinely was crying. Also, after I finished the tutorial, no joke, a cutscene just froze and I didn't get a blue screen. Just the models were stuck. I couldn't pause to skip the cutscene. They just fucking stopped. The game was a hard soft lock. The music kept playing. And I had to close out and replay it. But after I did that, I play Kamala. Then you do like a mission with Hulk and Kamala, and that's interesting. Hulk plays like shit. I don't know who thought that it was a great idea, but he basically plays like he's half massive brawler, but then the other half is he's just doing parkour everywhere. He can wall jump and climb up shit, and it's so weird. But anyway, and then you play as Kamala Khan, who's actually interesting. She's like Mr. Fantastic, but an interesting character, if you can believe that. She's Mr. Fantastic with a personality, and also she can like grow herself, so she's fucking huge and start beating the shit out of people. She's really entertaining, and the cutscene. The thing is, right, is this game's been in development hell by Square for so long, and I feel so bad because you can tell.
Typical Square Enix game.
Yeah, but if you had said which one's going to be the good game, Final Fantasy VII Remake or Marvel's Avengers, I probably would have put my money on Marvel's Avengers, not Remake. But hey ho, it's opposite year for Square. But you can see that there's like this. They really try. Like some of the cutscenes that they play, like it's like, I can tell that they're trying to have like genuine emotion here, and the performances are really good for the most part. You've got like such a great voice cast behind it. Troy Baker plays Hulk.
Banner.
You've got Banner. Who, can I just say, out of all the characters, Hulk is the one that looks the least MCU like. Like he looks like an actual portrayal of him. So I'm like, fair play. And Troy Baker does a great job because it's Troy Baker. Laura Bailey plays Black Widow, and from the 3 lines that I heard of her in the demo, she does a pretty decent job. Travis Willingham plays Thor, which is one of the best casting directions I've ever seen in my life, because that guy basically is Thor in real life. So fair play to him. Like that's casting. Same with Nolan North as Iron Man. I thought that Nolan North as Iron Man, it was like, oh, that's cool at first, but then as I heard him, I'm just like, as much as I like Nolan, it just feels like you're just trying to be Robert Downey, and it just doesn't work. It just feels like that B-movie Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm Iron Man kind of character, where it's like, we couldn't pay to get Robert in, so we're just going to have this kind of like half-arsed version, and it just doesn't feel like it works. And oh my god, Captain America, I don't know who's playing Captain America, but they're doing an awful job at it. Like, honestly, it's really bad. So like, from the couple of lines that I got, I just wasn't enjoying that performance at all. And Kamala Khan, I don't know who's voicing Kamala, but Kamala's really good. So the voice cast is great, the cutscenes are great. And then there was this one moment where there was this heart-to-heart between Banner and Kamala, and they're sitting in the crashed air carrier, and they're just having this talk. And it's a really emotional moment, and you can tell that they're both super awkward, and it's really nice. I'm like, oh, maybe there's some hope after all. Maybe this story actually has something to it. And then Kamala puts on this laptop, like turns on this laptop. It starts playing some heavy rock music, and she's like, I don't want to listen to this. And then she puts on some other music, and then it's fucking Cheap Thrills by See It, and I'm like, right, you've lost me, and that's it. That's my experience. They spent money on putting that song in this game, and I was like, well, there you go then. All
and
hope
not
lost.
making crawl animations.
There's no crawl animations. I phased through a number of stuff. You should see my Twitter. I literally like got a point where Kamala had grabbed onto a handrail, but because there was a bit of geometry in the way, she just sat there with a massive fist, just flying there for about 3 seconds and then landed on the ground. There's so many bugs in this game, it's unreal. I honestly, in my time, I had 8 crashes, 2 soft locks, and like half a dozen to a dozen glitches of those similar proportions that I just was like, I can't believe this made it. And then the co-op missions, which weren't the story missions were interesting at least, but the actual like co-op missions are so boring. It is just go to X position on the map, stand in a circle while waves of enemies come at you and you just kill them. Go to somewhere else, do the same thing, mission over, and that's like every mission in the game. And I'm like, how has Crystal Dynamics worked on this game for 6 years and this is what's come out of it? Like, honestly, I'm like, it's trying to be a master of everything and just doing nothing right. Like, honestly. And I feel bad because it's like there are performances that are really good. There are some really great performances. There's some really great set pieces moments. There's a fight with Taskmaster as Black Widow, which I'm like, hey, this is like ironically, this would have come out after the Black Widow film, but now this is the first time we're seeing Black Widow fight in this kind of way, because that's just how the MCU died. But and I was like, oh, this seems cool, and it was kind of cool. And Black Widow is a really interesting character to play as. Like I say, the 2 characters, Kamala and Black Widow, the 2 that you think would be the least interesting to play as, are actually the most interesting. And the rest just feels like a shallow Destiny ripoff that honestly I feel like they should have not bothered with. I feel like this game should have been a single player like Marvel Spider-Man thing. Or at the very least a linear co-op game that you could play with your friends where you could have hop-in. Because even the single player missions, if you don't want to if you want to do the co-op missions and you don't want to do single player, it'll bring in AI with you. So you just feel like it's one of those games where you're like, I feel like I'm playing a multiplayer game by myself because I have no friends. It doesn't feel like I'm choosing to play single player.
I hate those.
There's a gear system like Destiny where for some reason you can give Hulk a new pair of shorts and he'll apparently be stronger. It's just one of those things.
I hate those too.
Honestly, I honestly thought that I didn't care. One of my entire opinion of Avengers up until now has been I don't care about this game, and it's now gone from I don't care to I actually don't like this game. The beta has convinced me that this game isn't good, and a comment I saw on Twitter summed it up great, which was like, this must be the most expensive game. This must have been the most time and effort and money put into a game for it to get a 72 on Metacritic. And that's the exact sentiment that I have, is so much effort into this for it to just be such an average, mediocre game that it's just like, I have no feelings on it. I feel like it could be fun with friends, but that's if the servers work. I don't know. It just, honestly, I wasn't planning on buying it. Now I can say for certain, I'm definitely not buying it. So don't expect a full review on the podcast because it's not happening. You could not make me buy that game. It was fucking horrendous. So there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that enough? Do you guys have any questions on it? Or
not really. Avengers failed to capture my interest just because everything I saw about it just wasn't, as far as like the gameplay and all that, didn't seem like anything I cared about.
Well, that was the thing.
So unless they had brought up like that there was going to be a story to die for,
which
then I was going to be like, okay, well,
they're throwing around shit like A-Day.
Well, yeah. I knew a lot of what you were explaining about the story just from like the promotional stuff, but listening to you in particular explain it made it sound really, really dumb.
And it is really dumb. Honestly, it's one of those things where someone says A-Day in a serious tone, and I pause the game and start laughing, and it's one of those moments where it's like, the game's not expecting me to laugh here, but I had to pause it because I did. And I'm constantly getting error internet connections where you can play this game offline. But if you play it offline, just so you know, every 90 seconds, if you don't connect to the server, it'll say, you're not connected to the server. And you have to press X to get out of the menu and get back to playing it. And it's the most annoying shit ever. But no, I don't recommend it.
The worst.
As far as I can tell, I said this going into E3 last year. I was like, when we going to Square, I remember saying this to Cal because we were doing a reactions of it. I was like, I can't wait to see this Avengers game. I don't care about Final Fantasy VII remake, but I can't wait to see Avengers. And I came out of that E3 going about, oh my god, Final Fantasy VII looks incredible.
Yes,
So I don't give a shit about Avengers. And it turns out it's true. I still think that Final Fantasy VII remake, brilliant game. This, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like an average, mediocre cash grab, which is a shame because Marvel and Insomniac did such a good job with Spider-Man 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will again do a great job with Miles Morales this year. And it's just a shame that their second partnership with Square just hasn't been as fruitful as that has been. And it's just a shame, really, because you can see the stuff and you're like, there's a good game in here somewhere, but just like Anthem, I'm not going to pay and stay around to find that game when it eventually gets patched 2 years later to be good. I'll wait. And if in 2 years, if they change it and it turns out to be a good game in 2 years' time, then great. Maybe I'll check it out. But at the moment, I just don't see it. So there you go. That is my impressions on the Avengers Beta. And I'm glad that I talked about it a lot, because if I'm going to use it as the thumbnail, I'm glad that it was a long section, because now I don't feel like clickbaiting people. But there you go. So Hunter,
also real quick, while you were ranting, I looked up the voice actors, and Captain America is played by a guy named Jeff Shine.
Mm-hmm. Has he done anything interesting?
I don't know.
Hunter, he was in Resident Evil 3 as Carlos.
Oh, really?
Oliveira.
Yeah,
I know who Carlos is.
I don't remember how to say Carlos's last name, but he did fine as Carlos. I don't know what's up with him. And
he just sounds like sounds like a monotone, like kind of grunty, like just kind of, we've got to get the job done. I'm Cap. I'm a badass.
Well, that might just be
my shield, like fucking Kratos's fucking axe. Yoink, look, it's back. You remember when he did that in fucking Infinity War? What a fucking fun time! Way. Literally, it's more fun.
He didn't have a shield in Infinity War. You tried though.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Claws, dude. He had the claws.
He had that weird.
It was Civil War where he had the magnets on his shield. That was what I was thinking of. Civil War where he has the magnets on his shield. But same thing. It was more fun to play Captain America. It's more fun to play Captain America throwing the shield and retrieving it than it was actually beating them. It was more fun just going fling, 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 frisbee, catch it, fuckers, catch it. But no, there you go. I'm done talking about Marvel's Avengers. Wrap it up. Take us home, Hunter. What have your initial impressions been on Persona 5 Royal? Keeping it to 5 minutes.
All right, we still have another segment.
Yeah, one more. One more.
Persona 5 Royal. I put off playing Persona 5 Royal when it came out because I was like, I only played this last year. I'm gonna give it some time. Perfect, because by the time I started playing it, I had actively wanted to. And I really like what they've done so far. All of the quality of life things that you mentioned, Ethan, like the baton passing right away. And that is wonderful.
Just that alone fixes so many early game problems. Like that genuinely. Yeah. I used to hate the early game of P5 so much. The first 2 dungeons was so tedious because of the lack of baton pass on nearly everybody. And then it's like, oh, cool, here's Yusuke, but by the way, no baton pass, fucker. And I'm like, well, great.
Yeah, I never understood their methodology behind that, because you tend to want to take the person who has the personal interest in the palace with you.
Especially because most of the time they have the magic that is the weakness to most.
Yeah, the magic that helps. Yeah, so exactly. Having someone besides Joker be able to stagger things is nice, but that was a handicap that was overcome in Royal, and all the other extra stuff as well. Like the 2 new characters, like Kasumi and Maruki, are delightful. Every time I saw either of them, I was extraordinarily happy to see them so far.
It's the best integration I've ever seen in terms of a DLC, of adding characters in post-game and actually having them not feel like, hey, I'm the DLC. Like the amount of times that I've played a game like that, whether it's like when Assassin's Creed's done it before, where they've added a character in. When Assassin's Creed 2, they added 2 extra sequences in as DLC in between the sections, and in just that whole time, you can tell that they're just filling the game. It's just like, hi, I'm DLC man, nice to meet you. You don't know me because I die in this sequence. It's just like, oh god, But no, they do a really good job.
Yeah, if I didn't know any better, I probably would have just assumed
they're better integrated than
Haru
Haru
all along. You're not wrong. I still have only done like 3 steps of her confidant.
Hell yeah.
And I'm at like, yeah, I would be almost done with the game if this was. But, extra time, so maybe I'll see what happens. No?
You won't.
Cool.
There's too much extra shit to do in time. Right. You have Third Awakenings, and then the rest of Kasumi opens up, so most of your free time goes towards that. You get like a couple of days, so you might get to like 5 or 6, but Haru boat has sailed once again. Better luck next time. Maybe in Scramble, Haru. I don't know, because Scramble's never coming to the West.
Yeah, fair enough.
It'll be here eventually, Ethan. Calm down.
No, it won't.
Yes,
so
it will.
All of the music they added has been cool too. Takeover is great. The new opening song,
Colors Flying High,
yeah, delightful. The jazz club music, so good. I'm sure that once I get to the ideal and the real.
The Loki banger.
I'm sure that once I get to the other the end game stuff, I will have more to say on the music and how great it is.
Final Palace's music is S tier.
So good.
It's the best Palace music in the game by like
a
landslide. It's pretty fucking great.
I like Palace 4's music so much too.
Oh, Palace 4, man. When Mother was there, banger, dude. Absolute banger.
So great.
Like, thematically, like songs that fit the dungeons thematically is the new Palace one fits it perfectly. And then it's Palace 4 is great. I love Palace 3. It doesn't fit thematically, but Palace 3 is just a bop, right?
It's just really good to listen to. I was so sad when it switched.
Oh, it's the biggest tragedy of all time, dude. Like, honestly, it's the biggest tragedy when it goes to the aggressive version. It's like, nah, I want the fucking banger back. Bring it back.
Yeah.
And then like Heaven as well. Heaven's the other one where I'm always like, Heaven thematically in P4 fits that dungeon so well that it's just so good. Yeah. But the new music's pretty swell. Not gonna lie.
It is, that's right. Also, I didn't really intend on using the DLC personas, but I happened to fuse some of them organically. So that's been a nice little boon to me, because half of them happened randomly because of the additions to the Velvet Room and stuff. So I was like, ooh, I guess I'll use it now.
Yeah. I remember using Yu's persona quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I did take Izanagi once I got around that.
Izanagi helped me through Okumura's fucking bullshit boss fight of despair, dude. Like, honestly.
Yep.
See, right around Okumura's is when I got Thanatos.
Oh, yeah, Thanatos.
From the random network fusion.
Oh, the network fusion. Oh, someone's using. I forgot that net fusion was a thing for the longest time.
Dude, I make it a point to go and see what those things fuse into.
Oh, they're broken. Some of them are broken. Network fusion is
I know.
A way to get broken shit personas, dude.
I don't remember which one it was, but the first playthrough of in the original game, I was loaded on immunities basically with Shoker. My whole party could be dead, but I wouldn't be.
He sent me an image of one of his personas. Hunter sent me an image of one of his personas, and it was all fucking passive evades, and it was just
it was great.
Per persona now, where I just can't take damage. I'm like, oh, that's nice, Hunter. That's good.
See, that's the kind of persona you make in New Game Plus. That's not New Game.
That's my one problem.
Well, it was several hours in. Yeah. It wasn't something I made.
Yeah.
One problem with Persona 5 Royal in terms of difficulty is the opposite of the other Persona games. Is Persona 5 Royal, with all the additions that they made to the Velvet Room in particular, and then just Baton Passes being fucking broken, and all the stuff that they added in Kichijoji, right? Kichijoji's just OP town. Come on in. What do you fucking want? Do you want your?
I haven't even upgraded those more than just the initial.
Do you want crazy? Do you want crazy technicals? The game's far too easy. Where it's like, if you want an actual challenge, like you could get a challenge on base P5 or any other Persona game by playing normal, right? You can have a fair enough challenge.
Yeah.
In Persona 5 Royal, I genuinely have to recommend to people, if you want an actual challenge, crank that fucker up to hard from the get-go. Because there's literally that game, other than maybe, like if you're Jack has also started playing Persona 5 Royal. I've just been hook, line, and sinker getting everyone on this fucking game. It's just Ed, if you're listening, you better fucking play it soon. Nearly got everyone to play it. But yeah, Jack was having a bit of trouble with Kamoshida, which was so fucking funny, by the way. That was hilarious. Watching him fail that was hilarious. I love watching people rage. But other than that, like, that game's so easy that you just need to kind of jump up that difficulty. Because if you're playing on normal, that game just becomes fucking piss so easy. Like, if you want difficult challenge on Royal, you genuinely do have to crank it up to hard or go out of your way to limit yourself. Like, that's genuinely your two options because everything's broken.
Like Sam's challenge run.
Oh my god.
No wonder. I know might go back to it, but my god, did he like properly like?
How far did he get?
Palace 3, 2. 3. Basically, for everyone listening to the podcast, he was doing a challenge where all of his teammates he was basically doing a Nuzlocke in Persona, where all of his teammates were on auto, so he couldn't control them, and he could only take one Persona from each palace, like a madman. But that man's crazy. But no, sorry, Hunter, I kind of took your train of thought away.
Oh, it's okay. I think I said all I had as far as like Royal specifically goes. Okumura's palace. It was a little better, but I still hate it. I hate his boss fight. I hate his face.
That's
I hate
my
the house he built and everything he stands for.
That's my exact same feeling. Is they did like they have you going, don't they, Hunter? They have you going because they're like, look, we fixed that abysmal flaw that everybody hates. We're trying. Okumura's palace isn't that bad now, right, guys? And then they fucking throw that boss fight out where it's just a massive middle finger, and it's just like,
it's the only one that I had to retry.
Same. I have to retry that fucker as well. Sam got the perfect RNG. I watched him play through it, and he genuinely had like the perfect RNG run. And I was just sitting there going, how is that even possible? Because that boss is honestly the worst thing ever. Like,
he's just sitting around like, I don't get why it's so hard.
Okumura is my favorite palace. I don't get why it's so hard. No.
Why does everyone hate this?
Even if Okumura was inoffensive, being the favorite palace is the wrong answer.
Oh, trust me. When we do spoiler cast 2 Electro Boogaloo, I will rip him to shreds about him liking Okumura's palace. Don't you worry. But my god, what that boss fight, whoever, it's like you got so close to making that dungeon playable, and then you went, oh, what if we make the fucking boss fight tedious and shit?
Worse.
I don't get how they did it.
The Haru cognition, was that there in the
original? No, that's an addition.
Okay, I thought so, because they had me going for a minute with like, I thought I beat him, and then he sent Haru at me all mechanized and stuff, and I was like, excuse me?
I honestly thought...
And then she was pretty easy to kill, so I wasn't too upset.
She does the self-destruct, but I was at the end of my work, because like second attempt, and I was like, because she was like set to self-destruct, and I was sitting to myself, and I was thinking, I swear to God, if they do you need to kill her in 2 moves now, or else she just insta-kills you, I'm going to jump. I go, and luckily it doesn't. But my God, I honestly thought that there was just one last middle finger just like creeping up from the fucking bottom, just like, well, hey, one last trick up my sleeve. That boss fight is just nasty. Like, honestly,
it's the worst.
The worst boss fight out of the 2 Persona games I've played. That's the worst fucking boss fight by a large margin. It's fucking bullshit. There's no good, and you can't whoever thought that it was a great idea to be like, oh yeah, but fuck baton passes, quick.
Well, no, you can baton pass or baton pass. You just can't all out attack.
All out attack. It doesn't work properly because you can get everyone down. It's like, oh, you can baton pass to fucking Ryuji, but he's not going to do shit right now. It's like, oh, this is great. Dude. This is great.
Let me just use his best physical move for half damage.
I don't want to talk about it. Garbage. But yeah, you've been enjoying your time so far, Hunter?
Yeah, I have. It's been delightful. Can't stop.
Won't stop.
I will not. Yeah.
You'll finish it
probably
soon.
Have it done by next week.
Yeah.
I imagine.
And then we just have to sit and wait for Jack to finish it. And then we'll have a full group to talk about it. And Carl won't have to sit there for another 3 hours going, hey, let's talk about a game I haven't played.
Oh, I just assumed it was going to be like double the length.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, 6 hours, dude. We'll go for a marathon. Why not?
Let's go.
Why not? Buckle up, kids, because you're ready for the ride of your fucking lives. Wow. What a podcast that'll be, but it'll be a bit in the future. So don't worry. We'll have other stuff coming up. But other than that, I think we talked about everything that I plan to talk about. Have you guys got anything else? You thinking of anything else?
No, that's it.
Nah.
We kind of turned a non-topic episode into a really long episode. So hey, there you go. We
It's
did
like
it.
just as long as the Smash Bros episode.
Yeah,
The wonders of rambling.
Yeah, it's just we just thought we'd do a chill episode, and hey, there you go. You just hung out with us. This is what it's like when we just have a normal conversation, no structure. This is what it's like. So hey,
Woo.
and if you like this, maybe we'll just do more of these rambling kind of episodes and trying to think of a really important topic every week. Because oh my god, are we already running out of ideas because we are not the best at it?
We have a list and we don't even like to pick from it.
No, because every
It's
time,
true.
like, oh, we can save that till later. Or it was like we held on to the Smash one for about 3 weeks because I was like, I bet you we can get a guest for this, and it's like, okay, we'll hold it off. And hey, for that one it worked, but you know,
It did.
I think we'll leave it there. So that's been our show. Hunter, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Nice. And Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at KDavisSRL. And you can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KDavisSRL. My new controller came in today, and we can finally get back to playing Crash.
You lucky.
We're gonna get that sub 120, even if it kills me,
right
and
now,
it's gonna kill me.
right now, run it back. Why not? Do it.
Right now, right after this, you want to race?
You want to race?
I'll probably be streaming
That'll be terrible.
When the episode goes up.
Probably.
Go watch him.
Yeah, go watch him. You can find me.
He's
Not
right
right now, but in the future.
You can find me
about 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours from when the podcast gets posted.
Twitter and Twitch at Chaotic Ethan. Let me plug my shit.
No, fuck you.
Hey, that's gonna go really well on the fucking recording. Thank you for that one. But yeah, this
Welcome.
HGO, where we come to you to talk about everything that we love in the world of games. So you can find us everywhere on podcast services and on YouTube. bit.ly/thegiggers. That's bit.ly/thegiggers. Please go head on over there. Hit us with a subscribe so that we can get ever closer to 100 subscribers and people respecting us. We'd really appreciate it. If you want to find out what podcast services we are on, just go to Linktree. That's linktr.ee/hotgamersonly. And we've got everything there where you can find our highlights channel. You can find every podcast service we're on, as well as the Twitter at Hot Gamers Only to keep up to date with everything Hot Gamers Only and all of our podcasts and clips. And then at the Giggers YT for everything else under the Giggers umbrella. But with that has been our show. We'll be back next week. No more breaks. We'll have to just find a topic. No more breaks. No more. We must keep working because the games, they're around the corner, guys. You just got another month and a half until Crash comes out.
Oh God!
Just a
I
month
can't
and
wait
a
for
half.
the Kingdoms of Amalur remaster.
Oh yeah, we've got that. Hunter, I can't wait for Hunter to tell us all about that in like a couple of weeks. That'll be great. I can't wait for you to carry that show, Hunter. But
oh boy,
we've still got
play a lot.
You fucking better, dude. You better. But otherwise, that has been our show. Thank you ever so much for listening and watching. As always, we'll be back next week with more HGO. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you later.
Toodaloo.